Alright y'all, we're back with another video here. This time we're on the topic of hammer and scorecard, a favorite topic of our Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney. So this article actually came out before the election. We can see it was November 4th of 2020. But still a decent read here, as hammer and scorecard were very crucial for the 2020 election to be stolen for the left. Okay. So we start off here. It's one of those blockbuster accusations that almost seem too crazy to believe, but we're seeing it happening right before our eyes in Michigan and Wisconsin. The president must act. So what's happening with the election? We'll get into that. As one might normally say, it's anyone's guess, except it was stolen, if we're to believe Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney during his most recent interview. And this one's real brief, again, just kind of a warning shout about what's to come. But anyway, Thomas McInerney, Mr. General, described Hammer and Scorecard, a pair of programs initially designed for the CIA, you guessed it, before being privatized by deep state players from the Obama administration. I'm sure we're all in shock about that one. Alright, we explained how they work in an article last week, but the gist is Hammer, or the Hammer, is a counterintelligence surveillance program used to spy on activities on protected networks like voting machines without detection. So Hammer's the actual program that is monitoring the votes and seeing what's happened, can keep the tabulations and see what's going in, whether it's a Trump vote or a Biden vote. And then Scorecard is the actual software to manipulate the votes during the transfer. So it is this big gray area where you're pushing a button on a screen or whatever, and then it's transferred, the data's transferred now to another tabulation machine. So there's that kind of lost in space, no one's really watching it while it's transferred from the actual tabulation machine to the database. And so that's what they cover here, saying it's a vote manipulation application that changes votes during transfer, least detectable form of election manipulation because it works during data transfer between a voting station and the data storage hubs. So unless you have someone exactly looking at what Thomas Smith just voted, whether it was for Trump or Biden, and then making sure Thomas Smith's vote goes in the computer for what he voted for, Trump or Biden, you have no clue if it's actually legitimate or not. And then he concludes the article with saying the day before the election, General McInerney spoke with two mics about details surrounding Scorecard and called on the White House and Trump campaign to take action before voting started. If only there wasn't a corrupt system standing in the way. But hey, maybe things had to be this way.